Money comes in all ways when you are aligned with your gifts and talents, serving the way you were made. This is scientifically proven. And when you test the theory, money just flows and it makes us feel calm, peaceful, and helps us work towards that financial freedom. These are the conversations we are having in The Smell of Money, a community on School where we think about how we want our relationship with money to be. Plus, there's cash flow quickies to give you immediate wins. Members are saving $500 to $2,000 just by being aware of their money. Come join us. The link is in the description.
If you're tired of feeling shame about past financial decisions, worried you'll never achieve financial stability, and ready for a clear plan to take control of your money and experience true financial freedom, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Lisa, wealth activator, independent insurance broker, and your guide to rewriting your money story. I learned the secret to creating financial freedom and stability after divorce, and I'm ready to share it with you. If you're ready for steady, stress-free income, clarity with your money, and the confidence to spend without guilt, grab your favorite essential oil, take a deep breath, and let's sniff our way through the smell of money. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of I Date Money. I'm your hostess, Lisa Drennan. And you know what? Today, we're going to be talking about maxing out your money. How? With Money Max, with Dr. Bob Levine, who has a PhD in brain research, is a holistic health clinician, and is known by many as America's leading drug-free stress and pain relief specialist. Dr. Bob also helps people get debt-free fast and save thousands of dollars, not paid to banks, for profit. His focus is to help people optimize their health while eliminating debt and building wealth. That's right up our alley, isn't it? Optimal health plus great wealth equals total freedom. And I know all of you out there want total financial freedom. So welcome, Dr. Bob, to the show. I am just really honored to have you here to share your expertise. And I love how you've combined the health with the wealth, because I know when we met at the in-person networking event, we had talked about how health is affected by our wealth. You know, when we're stressed out about money and we're, flipping out because we can't pay the bills, all of a sudden we start to have physical pain, like the headaches start, the stomach aches, the ulcers, all that good stuff. So tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started in this industry and what made you flip to, not even flip, but what made you merge these two worlds together in your practice?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, Lisa. I love I Date Money as a tagline. That's so beautiful. And it's a great intro to what we're going to talk about today. My background is I did 30 plus years of brain research. I published more than 80 papers in scientific journals, traveled all over the world, talking about my research results in different places. And I had it's a very illustrious career. And then about 25 years ago, approximately, I developed a really bad back and hip problem that came chronic pain, terrible, because of my football days, college football days, a lot of injuries. And I was only able to help myself with alternative therapies when conventional care couldn't get the job done. That when I got out of pain after about a year and a half of running all over the place and spending thousands of dollars to get out of pain, I realized, wow, I got to do something about this. So I really expanded my neurology research lab to include being the director of the Center for Integrated Wellness at Henry Ford Health System in Detroit. And I developed my skills and got training in all these alternative modalities. And then I proved them in clinical trials that they're really wildly effective. We're not talking too much about health today, but I just want to say that when I work with people on their finances, I'm also working with them a little bit on their health if they want to, because I'm uniquely positioned to deal with health and wealth. And, as you said, when somebody doesn't have the funds to invest in their health, then they have health problems, and if they have a lot of money and they're still worried about keeping their money or making sure nobody takes it, and they've ignored their health for years, maybe decades, and they have a lot of money, and as they get older, all of a sudden it's like, what am I going to do? I'm sick. I'm not feeling well. I'm going to see all these doctors. I got tons of money, but you cannot buy back your health. Really, you can. It takes a while and takes a lot of money when you get so sick. So my message to people is don't ignore your health. Let's figure out how to build your wealth up. And that's where we come in, Lisa. Build your wealth up so that, you can invest in your health. So basically so then but I realized what was really amazing was as I started treating thousands of people for all of these health conditions and being really effective and proving in clinical studies that I ran that the modalities that I use or the treatment strategies I use are wildly effective. I realized one thing about a year and a half ago, and that is that the one area of stress that I wasn't dealing with was financial distress because I was dealing with every patient I've ever had, every kind of symptom. I always de-stress them because if somebody's stressed, it interferes with their ability to heal the fastest way possible. So I teach them how to de-stress, relax, and let their body heal itself as opposed to preventing the healing or retarding, slowing down the healing. And then I realized, wow, financial distress is huge. It's probably the biggest stressor. I mean, marriages fall apart because of financial problems. It's really wild. So I believe that when I help, and I'm uniquely positioned to help people in both arenas, health and wealth. And the way I do the wealth side is I help people get debt free fast. And I have a special mathematically based program that tells people exactly the fastest way they can get debt free without changing their lifestyle, without throwing tons of money that they may not even have at the debt that they have. It's called the Money Max account, as you mentioned earlier. It's a brilliant program. It's wild. I mean, I'll pause for a moment there, but yeah, I'll say more about the program in a moment. Unless you want me to do
Yeah.
it now.
So, so many people do stress about finances and feel like they're, living just to pay their bills. And it does affect their health. I know people who get migraines, backaches. A lot of our listeners are single and divorced moms who are working full time plus a side gig, trying to make their, side gig a full-time business so that they can have that experience, that financial freedom, pay down debt, and make enough money to build a legacy for their children. And so when we
Yeah.
think about our listeners out there having that stress of debt and relating that to pain, in your research, you said you study the brain a lot. And one of my favorite things to share with everybody is our thoughts are our most important tool that we have to get the results that we want. And of course,
Yeah.
our thoughts come through our brain, like our head, and then it goes into our emotion, our feeling, and then our
Yeah.
hand takes action to get the results. So there's a disconnect somewhere. So in your research, what did you learn about that?
Wow. I love the way you said that, Lisa, because you talked about the thoughts driving the actions, producing the results. And I take it one step earlier. I'm not going to get into it in detail, but I have a technique that's called instantaneous thought shifting, like that, instantaneous thought shifting. So when somebody's having thoughts they don't want, it's really hard for somebody who's untrained, which is almost everybody on the planet, to shift those thoughts right away. But I teach them how to do it instantly. And when you do this process, it's fabulous. It's so great because the thoughts you were having go away instantly. And then you have this like clean slate where you can start thinking about the thoughts you want to think about, which leads into the true future visioning process that I use, which is I want to leave a legacy of wealth for my kids. I want to have the best relationships. I want to all the things that we want that we don't even know how to get. We still have that out there in our future vision so we can focus on it because you've heard the expression, whatever people focus on expands. So if instead of focusing on, wow, I probably can't do this or that probably won't work for me, we focus on, I want this, and I want this, and I don't have to know how to get it. I'm going to focus on it. I'm going to figure it out. I'll talk to people. I'll get coaching. I'll read books. I'll go online. Whatever I do, I will figure this out because I have the confidence. I'm being confident and I'll figure it out. So so instantaneous thought shifting. I just love that because people can start to focus on taking care of their health at the same time while they're building their wealth. So I use debt elimination to start with because people can build wealth the fastest when their debt is minimized. Somebody has a 30-year mortgage and they're going to be debt free in 30 years. Well, maybe the Money Max account will take somebody with a 30-year mortgage, that's with a lot of years left to pay, and they're going to be debt free from that and all their other loans, car loans, student loans, credit card debt in 7 to 10 years instead of 30 and even faster at times because the program, I'll just say a little bit about what the program does. The program is mathematically based. It's been around for more than 20 years. The company, United Financial Freedom, they've resolved more than $3 billion of people's debts. And they have more than $10 billion right now under management. So they track, as they relieve people's debts. They track it. And the program has 4 million lines of code, and they use what's called factorial math. It's a fancy terminology to say the program analyzes all the combinations, which are thousands, of the payment amount that could be made on a given debt, a given loan, and on what day of the month should they pay it on. And so it analyzes all the combinations, and it comes up with the optimum strategy to get debt free in the fastest way possible. It's a simple program to use. Every month you get an action plan. It tells you what to move where, what to pay when, set up your payments, done. And then you wait till the next month's action plan. So the program's working, and it's impossible. They call it the world's first financial GPS, because you put in your parameters, and then it tells you where the program can get you, how fast it can get you out of debt, and how many thousands of dollars it can save you in interest payments toward bank profits. It's really important that people understand that the APR on a mortgage, for instance, is kind of like doesn't matter, if it's 3% or 2% or 6%, because it's the total amount of interest, total volume of interest payments that's really critical. And so if somebody takes a look at their mortgage statement, especially if it's a 30-year mortgage, the first mortgage payment is going to have a monstrous percentage of debt. It's going to have 85, 90% interest, which is like flushing it down the toilet. And then there's a tiny little bit of principal. And then month 2, the interest goes down a teeny bit and the principal goes up a teeny bit. It's still almost all interest. So people need to understand that. And when they come to me, I do a free financial analysis for the people. And when they come to me, I'll do that for them. I'll plug their financial parameters directly into the Money Max account program. And the program will then tell them how fast they can get debt free and how much tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars that they can save off their debt payments, including their mortgage, car loan, everything else. That's a beautiful thing, because that tells a person what can be accomplished if they have a strategy. And I tell people, look, you don't have to get the Money Max account. You can do other things. There's other things you can do. Get a strategy, whatever it is, avalanche method, snowball method, Dave Ramsey, whatever the method is. The only thing is, none of those methods will match the Money Max account, because it's guaranteed for the life. Somebody buys the program, it's guaranteed for the life. They can will it to their kids or anybody else they want to will it to. It's really fun like that. And it does the job. And so if it doesn't work, they're going to refund their money. They've never refunded anybody's money in the 20 plus years they've been doing it if the person's using the program. The only time they won't refund somebody's money if they're not using the program. So before we go any further, I just want to say, if somebody wants to have me tell them about the program, do a free financial analysis, get a free gift, I got a great free gift for somebody, they can go to my link, drboblevine.com/ the website name, I Date Money. I love it. drboblevine.com/ I Date Money. I don't need to spell that for anybody. So when they go to that site, when they go to that site, they just click on a blue button that says, yeah, I want to know more. Then I get there and it goes to a form. They fill out their information. I contact them, and then we have a great time. It's a lot of fun, and people learn a lot. And in the process, they gather all their financial information together, which most people have kind of spread out all over the place. I had an insurance agent who had a lot of debt, mortgage, car loans, everything else. The program predicted that, according to the bank's plan, they would be debt free in 26.2 years. And with the Money Max account, they were under 3 years. They were 2.9 years debt free, because the Money Max told them what to pay when and how much. It's phenomenal. It's just great. So not everybody can do that. It depends on their finances and all the parameters. But generally speaking, if somebody has $200 of discretionary income left at the end of the month, after they pay their bills, they got $200 left over, the program will work. It'll take that $200 and it'll start paying the debts in the appropriate way, and they'll get debt free fast. So that's pretty cool.
Yes, it's awesome. Tell us how you got involved with this. Like, what made you go with this program and become an agent for them?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, there's a couple of factors. One is the amount of money that people are paying the banks in interest, wasted toward bank profits. We should all not be doing that. So this is the best way I can help people do that. Relieving the financial stress that a lot of people have, worrying about money. Let's get everybody gathering their wealth. Once they get debt free, they can start working with their favorite financial planner. You're a wealth activator. I love that tagline. As a wealth activator, they can get advice from you about what they should be doing. And then they can start building their wealth and build that legacy for their kids. And that's what I'm looking for. And also the stress that people feel, it's just totally exacerbating or making worse whatever ill health they've got. If they have pain, financial stress makes it worse. If they have headaches, financial stress makes it worse. If they have anxiety, certainly financial stress makes it worse. So it's feeding all kinds of ill health, especially in relationships, communication. I'm a specialist in communication. I teach everybody about communication because it's so important. The power of words, the true future visioning, what you're focused on, the language you use to speak about that. Everybody who works with me, even when they buy the Money Max program, they get some of that too, because I want to help them improve their lives in the fastest way possible. So I have some very unique things that I do with people.
Right. And bringing those tools to the table really helps the overall health of that person so that they can build their wealth. So what got you started in this? Were you in that situation where your mortgage was out of control, you had some student loans, and you just were looking for a way to get out of that 30-year commitment?
Well, I became pretty early on in my life a multimillionaire, right? And then I started buying everything under the sun and I started spending a lot of money. And then I realized, wait a minute, what's going on here? I'm like losing my dollars. I was like, I guess you could call me, I don't know, spendaholic. I never liked to pay attention to any financial details. Never wanted to balance my checkbook, never wanted to do anything. And that was a formula for disaster for me because, if I needed more money, I just made more. I figured out ways to make more money. But then, I realized this is a bankrupt situation. And somebody pointed out to me how much money I'm wasting on interest with credit card debt and the mortgage debt. And so when I found out about the Money Max account, I went from 32 years to be debt free to 2.9 years.
Wow.
I mean, that's because I had enough discretionary income to pay down debts in the appropriate way. It was like I was never trained. Nobody's trained on how to do this, right? And there's no way to replicate a mathematically based futuristic. It's like having a financial crystal ball that's actually real. You know what I mean? It actually gives you the answer. There's only one right answer to get debt free. And that's what I love about the program, because people who get the program, when they work with the program, they become their financial experts. Nobody else, you, me, anybody can really dig in at the level that they dig in because they gather everything together. We enter it in the Money Max program, and then it's all there. They want to look something up. They got all the details they need right there. They don't have to find a statement, they don't have to speculate about it. So that's how I got into it. I mean, I knew that I could help more people accelerate their health improvement and get healthier when I was helping them not only eliminate all the stresses coming from various places like miscommunication stress and how then thoughts and, feelings and whatnot that were causing stress. I could also help them with the financial stress. So the Money Max account is beautiful because it helps me be a debt elimination specialist, So I can
Yes.
optimize health and help people build wealth by working with the Money Max account and their financial planners, whoever they are.
Right. And that's so important because a lot of people can pay off debt, but to stay debt free is a whole nother ball game. And it really has
Exactly.
with the way, our relationship with money and our thoughts about money and basically the psychology of money. Because I mean, I was debt free and then I racked up debt in my 40s and couldn't figure out because I was in the financial world. It's like, why do I have debt? I know the numbers, I know how to pay it down. But I would pay it down, rack it back up. And, I paid off $100,000 in 6 months using my money multiplier system, which was very specific about allocating every dollar and giving it a job and making sure you applied it towards debt. You kept mentioning a 30-year mortgage. Does this work for somebody who doesn't have a mortgage? And is this just in the United States or is it in other countries?
Great question, Lisa. Yeah, it's just in the United States for now. And it works. I mean, it depends on how much debt somebody has. If somebody has like $80,000 worth of debt, they might have 2 car loans, a lot of credit card debt, student loans, everything else but a mortgage, then it can work really well for them. If somebody doesn't have a lot of debt, they can use the program for managing, and it's very predictive. The Money Max account can predict out 50 years. The algorithms predict out 50 years. So if somebody doesn't have a lot of debt, but they want to buy a boat and they want to do it on, they want to by borrowing the money, they can enter that in the Money Max account. The Money Max account will tell them exactly how that's going to affect their debt-free date. So But somebody who has a lot of debt without a mortgage, and then, the program can handle up to 99 mortgages all at once. So real estate investors love this because they're saving millions of dollars in interest when they have a lot of different mortgages. So that the program can handle anything from one mortgage or two mortgages up to 99 mortgages. It's really
Well, that's good because I've had a lot of guests that are real estate brokers on my show, so we'll have to share that via the email list for my former podcast guest.
Yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful thing for real estate investors because, they have their clientele that they've helped already. And most of those people are not there's very few people that are savvy enough to figure out how to pay off debt in nobody I've ever seen who can produce the kind of number that the Money Max account produces where because there's only one right answer, that's it. And if you deviate from what they tell you to do, you're gonna delay your debt free date. So real estate agents, brokers love it. Insurance agents love it because they have clients that they're working with on their finances. A lot of people, and like with Yulee, so they want to build their wealth legacy through the
Right.
instruments that you have. So it's really helpful to you to have them be getting themselves debt free while they're starting to build their wealth legacy.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's so important to do that, and the younger you are, the better, but it's never too late to start building wealth even if you're
It's
over.
never too late to start. And I'd love to see everybody who's listening out there. If you have a situation where you want to get debt free, you have a mortgage or you have a lot of other debt, drbobLevine.com/I date money will get you right to me. I'll contact you and we can talk about it. And I do all this evaluation for free because I want to educate people on how different strategies could be used to get debt free and the importance of it. That's the thing. When people are done talking to me, they know it's urgent because they realize how much total interest volume, the amount of payments they've been making toward bank profits that they didn't have to make, but didn't know any better, like me,
Right.
hundreds and hundreds of thousands of
Yeah,
dollars.
no one pays attention to their amortization schedule.
Right.
There's a
Exactly.
breakdown and they're like, "What's that?"
Yeah,
All that
exactly.
you signed for your mortgage? Well, it's in there. It's a
Yeah, and
bunch of numbers.
I just look at the first line tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah,
How much
yeah.
interest and how much principal, it's like, it's crazy.
Exactly. And if you even calculate it, it's compounded, which a lot of people don't understand. I know when I was a bankruptcy paralegal and a real estate paralegal, I actually worked for the mortgage bank. So when people would say, "Well, how does this calculate?" It's like it's compounded
Yeah.
daily.
Yeah,
Okay. So
exactly.
let's
Yeah.
talk about compound interest. That will be, I don't know if you remember, but I'm writing a children's series for financials for
I
ages
that
3 to 7. And yeah, Lion Finn's Money Adventures. And one of the books will be about the compound interest and
I mean, that is so
how it
awesome that
affects
you're
their
doing
life.
that. That is so awesome that you're doing that. I mean,
Yeah, it's
plus,
fun.
you've done your background is really amazing. You've done so many different things in the financial arena that it's just contributes to your ability to help people. I'm really awed by that. And the fact that we need to teach the children. I mean,
Yes.
it's fine to teach people who are, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, how to get out of debt and build the legacy for the kids. It's really important that the kids know. And we have young people starting really early on this. My son is 21 years old and he's in. He's all in. And
Yeah,
I love it. So
that's
my other two
beautiful.
sons aren't all in yet, but the middle one is.
They'll come around.
Yeah, they will.
I always tell everyone, do your research and then check with your intuition and say, like, is this a good fit? And how is this going to help me? And if I don't change something today, where will I be in 3 years? I actually am just about to release my podcast this week that talks about that. I can't afford it. Okay, well, let's talk about what you can afford and the psychology behind that, because what you can't afford, you probably should be investing in because it's going to help you get financial freedom, which is what
Yeah.
everybody wants. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Dr. Bob, for being here. For those of you listening, please check the show notes to get that link. You're going to get a free book that's going to help you go through, but more importantly, you're going to get a visual. But Dr. Bob is going to show you, and you don't have to give a lot of information. You're not going to have to give your bank accounts or anything like that. It's very minimal information. And you're going to get a picture, a walkthrough of exactly how much you're paying in interest if you continue to pay your debt the way you're paying it today versus if you follow this system and pay your debt the way they instruct you to. Now remember, we all get these tools in our hands and we let them collect dust because we don't use them. So we need to use these tools. So when you think about, I want financial freedom, I want to have confidence in my money, I want to be able to build my wealth. Do you really, or do you just want to talk about it? Find that
And are you willing to do what's necessary to do that?
right. Are you willing to take the action steps? Because the thoughts without action yield nothing, no ROI anywhere across the board. So check the show notes again for that link. And remember, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's what you do with it.
Perfect.
Hey, mompreneurs, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, please follow the show and share it with a friend who's rebuilding her finances after divorce. No spreadsheets, no restrictive budgets, only confidence to build financial freedom. Also, please drop a quick 5-star review so more moms starting over can find this. It lights me up to know this podcast is helping you. Inhale confidence, exhale scarcity. I'll meet you back on Tuesday for another episode. It doesn't matter how much money you have, it's what you do with it.